Welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, and basically anything else that catches our eyes. I'm Vin, that's Jill, that's Pedro, and everyone watching us live, hanging out with us for a little extended pre-show because, thunderstorms, that was a thing, and power cut went out. Didn't go out.
Ooh, there's one right now.
Yeah. Thanks for the copyright strike, Mateus. Right at the beginning of the show, I would like to thank Mike and Aldius, the givers of UPSs, at least two of the big chunky ones that I have in the studio. We never blinked. It kind of glitched a little bit on your end, but we never went off air, which was... Yeah, that was not exciting. I didn't like that at all. Let's never do that again. And hopefully we'll get through this one without too much of a problem. But what's going on with everyone? I do want to say on top of everything else, I have a new version of Mixbus, an updated version that doesn't seem to be broke. Everything's still kind of working. So fair warning, if something goes squirrely, it's either the Thunder or Mixbus. And playing around with things. I'm almost done with the, I was very reluctant to do it, but it needs to be done. That HDMI quad from Blackmagic, now that it's fixed and I can use it a year later on Linux, I'm going to do the video for it. So that'll be out. I think I'll have that probably up for patrons by the end of the week. So you guys and gals can take a look at it and, see what you think, give me some feedback on it, and then we will send it out to the masses on YouTube where they can ask very important questions like command don't work, how fix?
No. That's way too specific. It needs to be even more vague.
You might think I'm being a little jokey, a little bit facetious, but nay, go back and watch the pre-show. And that's very much a thing where we're looking through some of our YouTube comments. Jill, you've been rearranging penguins.
Yeah. It actually did rain a little bit here too. Not a storm, not a thunderstorm like what Ven is dealing with, but it actually did rain here in SoCal, which is rare. So but I'm rearranging my penguins. I have a penguin cart here, and that is so that when I'm remodeling the room, I can move the penguins around easy. So now I just got to decide which ones to keep in the cart and which ones to pack up. I hate doing it, but I've got to. So...
I was wondering, is there going to be any changing of the penguin guard? Are you going to be swapping any out? Do you have like a reserve penguin storage area for the ones that you're like, no. You, sir, are not in the shot.
Yes. I have several bags of penguins.
They all cycle like one every episode. It's like just...
It's kind of funny because I do that. Usually every few weeks I move ones around and take ones out of the closet.
Pedro Mateus.
Hello. Over here, not much has been going on, but Nori's birthday gift to me finally arrived.
He's reaching for a box. It's red?
Yes. Hashtag not sponsored, but it's the Boxu. It's that service that a bunch of YouTubers have been talking about.
Pedro, I'm worried between the non-sponsored, hey, go register to win a System 76 and this week. I'm like, man, something smells.
No one gave me any money for that. In fact, Nori technically paid money for that, so there you go. Mm-hmm. It's just a box of a random... Japanese snacks and sweets and stuff. So we've been sharing them because each and every one comes with at least 2 packets or enough that you can share with someone else. So we've been trying that. But it is, I have no idea how much it goes for. But if you've seen a video on YouTube, like any of the vloggers, any of those kinds of content creators, you've probably seen the ad for one of them.
Also, I grew a mustache.
Yeah, I noticed it was a little thicker.
Basically, I shaved, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave a mustache.
Oh.
I did not notice.
Okay.
No, in fact, I trimmed mine. It was getting a bit too... unruly.
I don't know. There's not a lot of places to go. I normally cut it off. I'm like, no, I'm just going to leave that. I'll probably cut it off after. be honest with you, because facial pubes, not really my favorite thing in the world. But to start the show off this week, real quick, we were talking about what we basically assumed was a trolley account on Twitter that claimed 3D effects is back from the dead. If you're a certain age, I don't know, with the interest in retro computing and all the other fun stuff that goes along with that. Oh man, UPS is blinked, but I think we still have power according to the canary light.
You just had a brown moment.
Yes.
I just heard the switches like click, click, click. Oh man. But yeah, 3D effects, that was really the first genuine 3D card that you could get that really did the business. That, there was a bunch of competitors in the field. Everybody had like a 3D something, but they're the ones that walked out with Glide and stuff. And you really got that, this is next level. And, they went bankrupt and NVIDIA bought them and all that fun stuff. And the Twitter account's like, hey, we're coming back. It's been 20 years. We're going to have new cards. We're going to have, what was some of the other stuff? Music equipment and...
And smartphones or wearables, something like that.
Yeah.
Beats by 3D effects. And we didn't know what to make of it. We all sit back, logically, intellectually, we knew, like, this is probably somebody having some fun. But you wanted to hope. You wanted to have that faith, because that market that we're currently living in, where you just can't really get a video card unless you are willing, to buy a used car. And there's been 2 competitors in the field since in recent memory. I think everyone's waiting for Intel to drop something just to have a third player in the field.
Summer's almost over, Intel.
Yeah.
Summer's almost over.
No. Well, the update to the 3D effects thing was unfortunately a little predictable. This was the last tweet that I was able to capture. And why were you showing a screenshot from your Twitter? Because I'm plugging my Twitter account. No, I'm not. From 3D Effects Official, follow ATI parody, as this account will no longer be in use tomorrow morning. And that was from August.
Why is he telling people to follow ATI Roy? Is that picture of Sandy still up
Radeon Roy? I own Radeon Roy. I have that. That is still an account. We have a troll account, but I've never used it for ill like this. That message kind of smacks of like, oops, maybe this wasn't a good idea, and I should get out. And even when you go to ATI parody, that account's gone. So. 3D effects, non-official. You don't have to worry about it now, because it has been squatted on by Earl Wright, who says, don't mind me, I just claimed this handle because I don't want to be played again. True.
Although he does point out that there is a internet poop posting account that is it's not 3DFX official, it's official 3DFX. So if you want to see the memes and you want to go enjoy the troll now that everyone knows it's a troll, go there. I for one am glad that this one is over. Last week I was made to feel very, very inadequate because I didn't have a voodoo what do you don't dare do people. So there we go. The inadequacy returns.
Oh no! But you had the predecessor to it, Pedro.
No, I had a Riva DNT.
Riva. Oh, okay.
I guess I should take my feet off the stack of 3D effects cards and let me. That's predictable, but we thought we'd give you a quick update. Now, let's get into it with Mozilla and performance.
Yes. So I think Mozilla at this point can't really deny that what we were talking about last week. It was, I think, after the show or during the show as well. And everyone, whenever you talk about Firefox, everyone says, yeah, it's a bit slow. It is. And they're starting to acknowledge that. So over the past 6 months, the Firefox performance team has been implementing some changes. And if you're using the developer...
It's all Zul's fault.
The engine is it has to load at some point, but the biggest one was when the window showed up, and the first one, well, it only loaded after the engine had loaded and after the just-in-time JavaScript compiler and everything else had already started. Now the window actually shows up as soon as the init process is done, which is, the same way that Chrome does it. So that's an improvement, and it stops you from launching it multiple times. The little "a web page is slowing down your browser" message isn't quite so vague anymore, and it actually tells you the specific web page, as it gives you the actual one, is slowing down your browser. Do you want to stop it, or you just have the cross instead of also having the wait button that did the same thing? So, yeah, that's that received some trimming of the fat, which is good. And the general improvements to VSync, if you've tried to use the what's it called, the little alien thing to check the refresh rate on the browser and the tearing, if you see if you're getting any tearing, that doesn't work on Linux because VSync and browsers and hardware acceleration has always been a bit of an issue. But in Firefox specifically, whenever you scrolled, sometimes you'd get either vertical tearing or diagonal tearing because Firefox. So they've been improving that too. And the graphs that they showed, the timings and the milliseconds are significantly lower between like a click and an action and everything being presented properly on screen. So that too will help significantly, but yeah, there's still some catching up to do, especially if you have like a netbook, an old one that you're just using to browse the internet. Needs a little bit more. Just a bit.
Yeah. So, I think all of us at one time or another have clicked the Firefox icon several times, waiting for it to load and thinking that it was launching, and then multiple instances pop up all at once. That's been a thing for years. And this is hopefully going to fix that. And I've actually noticed a huge speed increase since the launch of Firefox 89. They really have made some improvements there. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. This is good. This is in the right direction. This is not like another weird side project. So focusing back on, what you do at your core is very important. And I'm glad that's where the focus is, because we do have to admit it. I mean, this is how you can spot a disingenuous person. Compared to Chromium-based browsers, Firefox runs poorly on Linux. And yeah, I'm excited. Isn't that right, Thunder? Yes. That's my background. Good work, Firefox team. So have you ever thought to yourself, like, hey, React OS, you're having all the fun with your Windows. I want something like that for my Mac. No? Well, too bad. They made it anyway. Eric's Open Desktop Operating System. What is it? It's a new open source desktop operating system that aims to provide a similar experience and compatibility. That's right. With macOS on x86 64 systems, it builds on the solid foundations of FreeBSD, existing open source packages, and new code to fill in the gaps. Now, we got to go look at the screenshots, don't we? Yes, we do. That's hey, it's it's a live boot.
Yep.
That's Tanuki.
It has a
so cute.
Initial screen with a Tanuki. Sure.
Okay, what do we think of this? Okay, true story. This looks like my KDE desktop in 2000. Because like every other Linux user, I went through the macOS theme craze for a few weeks. I'm like, oh, that's neat. And then I got done with it. But I think this is a good idea in theory. They do have a Coca sample app running on BSD using KDE with some elementary fonts. So baby steps. You're not exactly going to be doing too much with it at the time.
No, nothing at all. Because if you're going to get adoption, not just from users, but also from developers, you're going to have at least something to use that old Mac software. You gotta be able to use it. Otherwise, this is neat. This is very neat. And I hope that they do keep developing it to the point where React OS currently is. And there's a lot of people out there that are very captivated by the Apple UI. So, okay. Yeah.
Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not going to poo-poo on this at all because how long were we able to sit back and go, React OS, that's stupid. It doesn't run anything. It can't do anything. And now you have companies. Yeah, right. They're pulling it in. Like, this is how we keep our legacy stuff running now.
Yeah. We need this to run that old XP thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've actually heard of this. It used to be a different name project, but, I'm really hoping that it does become a reality because having an open source alternative to a closed source OS is always, always a good thing. And like Ben was saying with React OS, with Windows compatibility with the apps, it's gotten better and better. And Linux compatibility has gotten better with it too.
What I would be interested in seeing is, because, there was a translation, Rosetta, for your PPC stuff on x86. That, I think, is in desperate need because I don't believe Rosetta 2, which has gone to ARM, has anything built for the PPC stuff. And like, let it go, man.
It's just for the x86 to work on the ARM, the M1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Arthur, and thank you for reminding me. It's Hello OS. I couldn't come with the name of
Hello?
it. Yeah.
I can see the reason for the name change. So, true story. Installing fonts on Linux is relatively a painless experience nowadays. Thanks, GNOME Project. It's like, right click, font install, and look, and we're done. Also, I don't like having to restart GIMP when I install new fonts.
Yes. So yes. Have you ever wanted an easy way to search the whole Google font catalog and install them easily on Linux? Then Font Downloader is the perfect application for you. It's very easy to use, has a nice Google font searcher, and a typing test for the selected font, so you can see what it's going to look like.
Portuguese.
And then oh, yes, it has multilingual support. And all you have to do is just click install, and it will install the font in your default font folder, or you can specify a different folder in the settings menu. And you can also, in settings, have it search for a specific font type, like serif, sans serif, or handwriting. And it actually works very well. I installed the Ballet font, which is very beautiful, actually, handwritten font. And I tested it in Abbey Word, and it looks beautiful. And right now it's available as a flat pack, but it works very well and easy to install.
Pedro, it's not Electron. I don't know if I want to use it.
That may not be a bad thing, because if you have a dedicated thing that actually lets you see the fonts before you download them, and having to load them onto something and having to regenerate the font cache so that the something can see the fonts. Yeah, just a dedicated application for that. I can see the advantage. I can absolutely see the advantage. And if personal request here, from a technically a Portuguese speaker right here. Good
I am
screenshots,
willing
by
to
the way.
pay money if you do not do what he is about to ask.
Well, if you want money, just poke Ven after you specifically refuse to do what I'm about to ask, which is make it so it's not just the Google fonts, but all of the open source Google
all the open source
non-Google fonts out there. There's a bunch of them out there. And if you could find a way to centralize everything and give people access through one application to all of them, that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
As a creator, I understand why we're going after Google fonts, because I know if I pull something off Google fonts, it's been vetted.
Yes.
And if anybody ever comes after me for a video or anything, like, hey, I'm like, go talk to Google.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the reason. Like, I'll stick with like Google Music and stuff like that in the background, simply because, not my problem. You go talk to Google. Pulling from other sources, which is perfectly fine, because I go to 1,001 free fonts. I've been going there for ever.
Yeah.
Same here, looking for stuff. I assume everything's good, but you never know. It's like the free music archives.
You look at the license thing down the side. It's like, okay, that may be the license. Cool.
Hopefully. Guess we'll find out. Good work. You can build it with Mason, and Ninja is another, but easy enough to do. And if that's your thing, if you're dealing with fonts and you're on Linux, yeah, 100%. If I was like that much heavier into, because my creation process is like, I bet that would look good with a great font. Anyways, so maybe I will download it and try it out right after I'm done jamming out around my house with my Airplay 2 Airplays, because the Airplay. I don't know.
When did you get an Apple device?
Shut up. I have a Mac. I have a Mac Mini.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
do. I have the original Mac Apple TV PP, the really, really useless one now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I do have that that MacBook Air from work, but that's it.
Oh, I have almost every Mac that was ever made.
Now I do have a
Heathen.
Yeah.
Heathen.
Yeah. So, Airplay. You can play stuff around the house, and this is a working Airplay 2 speaker implementation, largely inspired by Airplay 2 receiver. There's probably a connection. However, the goal is to have an opinionated implementation, which I say, boo. Can we have a sassy implementation? But that is just to say some of the features, but the ones that we want to use. And, this thing can play AAC at 41K, which is decent. Home sync with a HomePod MIDI. You can do the volume. Supports Pulse audio. Pretty decent around the board, but it doesn't support Windows builds. Womp womp. But that's right. But it does work on a Pi, which is good. And, I think this is neat, a working Airplay 2 speaker implementation. So, as somebody who's got a bunch of Sonos speakers, which I've bought over the course of a decade, okay, I don't really even use them anymore. Ever since Amazon gave me the like miniature Alexa for some work I did.
The Dot.
No, this is like it's big. It's not like the full Chungus. It's like the half Alexa, and I carry it around like I'm an ood around the house now. It's getting
that requires some modification.
It's getting.
I think that's worth a few LEDs.
No, you just plug it in. You plug it into your USB port. It stays charged. No problem.
Yeah, you can just power off the LEDs directly off the USB. It's fine.
I don't really use the Sonos speakers anymore. But hey, if you got the Airplay stuff, you're bought into that, and this will save you from having to buy an iDevice, won't it?
It runs on the Pi.
Yes.
That's the big thing here. And, as an opinionated jerk on the interwebs myself.
No, you're a journalist, you're a news reporter. News reporter, Pedro.
Oh,
Yes, an opinionated news reporter. No, I do like me some opinionated software, and it is very much the, we don't want these, so we're not even going to bother. Don't care about Windows, don't care about the track info, don't care about video, don't care about any kind of on-screen stuff. This is all for, you have your Raspberry Pi, and you just use that as your Airplay repeater station, whatever you want to call it, from a Pi. You don't have to pay the Apple tax to have your Airplay thing. Good job bringing back the proto-Unix philosophy to some Apple technology.
Now, one thing I do want to point out, if you get a bunch of speakers around the house with this, it does have accuracies about 1 millisecond for multi-room. That's one thing Sonos got right way before everyone else, is you'll end up with like just slight phasing issues with traditional wireless speakers. Not if you just have one, but if you have one here, you have one in this room, one in the hallway, one in the den, one in the parlor, one in the sitting room, and all that fun stuff. They would be slightly out of sync, and that will drive you crazier than you can possibly imagine when you're hearing just that little bit. So this is going to be close enough to where it's not going to bother you. A millisecond I can live with.
Yeah, and the good news is the developers are actually working on that. They're working to improve the multi-room support with audio sync. So they are truly synced. And they also want to support Spotify RTP over UDP, and they also are going to support the Apple lossless audio codec. So that is coming. That's in the works. And that's good news.
Aflac.
Yeah. No.
It's just Alec, but no,
Alec.
I kind of, I wanted something that ended in L, in N, sorry, so that we can have Alan.
Alan. So
the Alan codec.
So Pedro Mateus is about to explain to us why there's Cyrillic straight up in our show notes.
To be fair, those
Yes.
are the first two words of the USSR anthem. I thought it'd be good for the memes. But yeah, this is every now and then I keep an eye on the register because they have very sassy a journalistic thing going on. I love them for that. That's one of my favorite things about that website.
Say that you're your official news waifu for sassy reporting?
Yeah, basically. They're very much on my wavelength when it comes to taking pot shots at people. And this one is about a Russian ARM SoC manufacturer, Baikal-T, who are now producing two machines, two variants for the IRU. And the IRU is, to the best of my Googling abilities, is the fourth largest technology manufacturer, seller in Russia. And the more I looked into it, the more my brain started going, stop or you'll get disappeared. So we're going to leave it at that. But the actual SoCs are very interesting. There's a couple of Cortex A57s and A72s, and they come in actual desktop form factor boxes, which is good. I really there's a lot of problems with Russia, obviously, but this move to push away from the decentralization of Intel and AMD and Microsoft, because they're using Astra Linux, which is a Russian-developed distro. So while the A57 is weaker than the Raspberry Pi 4, if we're being honest, when it comes to processor performance, it does have 32 gigs of RAM, and it supports PC-level stuff, even if you're going to be severely limited on the processor speed. But I hope that more people keep following, it's a bad example to, Apple. Just, move away from Intel, move away from AMD, move away from x86. Let's have a healthy environment. Russia's doing it, so what's your excuse?
Hipster. You don't have to be contrarian about everything, says everyone on AMD.
Aww.
I too am running AMD processor, and I have an NVIDIA graphics card, but I do love my Pinebook, and I do love my Pine time, and Pine have basically kind of taken this whole concept. It's like, let's just make ARM everything. Yes! Do keep an eye out for those phones that got magically shipped to New Zealand.
He's not going to let that go.
I wouldn't trust those.
we need a new show, Pedro's Tech Conspiracy. 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
We got to get you some yarn and some black and white photos for the background, but we can make it work regular.
I'm not entirely sure I want to be in a position where Alex Jones would invite me to be on his show.
No, listen, we'll do it under the guise of it being a comedy show, and you can just make up half the stuff like...
well, like Alex Jones, yes.
Joe, what are your thoughts on the Swirsky computer?
I was happy that Pedro put this in our show notes because, for years, Russia has experimented with its own computer hardware and software. So I actually hope this one sticks. I mean, years ago, they made their own knockoff Digital Equipment Corporation machines that were not quite DEC machines, but close. So they've, for years, have experimented with that. And actually, a lot of the computers on my vintage computer collection list are Russian because they're so unique.
They from the very start, they always had kind of their own thing, and Cold War and whatnot very much help with that.
Exactly.
So, I want more people to do this. Just take a different architecture, create something new. Let's make computing interesting again, please.
It's going to get crazy, Pedro. Then people are going to have to start releasing source code. That'll never happen.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
It'll be a bunch of stuff not running Windows. Hey, we're going to do a slice pie. Before that, if you like what we do and you want to support what we do, there's an easy way to do that. You can send out a self-addressed envelope. No, you can head over to patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. We got a bunch of reward memberships. Thanks to each and every one of you who are filling that up. That is brilliant. We got a couple of bonus things, like I'll be putting out a video probably by this Friday. I do preview stuff. I'm like, hey, I want all of you to come take a look at this and give me your thoughts, give me your feedback before we send it out to the masses, to the YouTubes and all that fun stuff. Plus, if you like this is just the middle part of the show. This is beginning, middle, and end. It's a 3-part act. The pre-show's extra long this week. Got that in podcast format, and we got it in video format, and that'll be out after the show. We have Discord, where we hang out, which is always interesting. I really wish I could say it's some haywire, crazy place. It is, but its own flavor of that, where everyone is, what word am I looking for? Cordial?
I don't know.
Yeah, everyone's polite and cordial and nerdy at the same time.
And there are arguments.
See, polite is a bit of a stretch. Nerdy very much applies, yes.
It's a place where disagreements and arguments are welcome. I was arguing with a Frenchman yesterday, along with Pedro, about semantics. But at the end of the day, we still all hang out.
Pedantry is important.
Yes. So, yeah. And we got plenty of people. If you remember IRC of old back in the day, just in general, that's kind of the vibe we got going on. Bunch of chill people doing their own things. And occasionally somebody will pop in with a question and it will light up. So, yeah. Thanks. And we got a merch. We got stores if you want to put us all over your Linus posters. We got stickers.
Yes.
We don't have Linus posters, unfortunately.
No, that was a one-off. I've been asked more times about where did you get them? Like, I made it. And, that was a lot of tracing in, what was it? Inkscape.
Yeah.
So,
Vectorize all the things.
Yeah. And I sent it off to a printing company. Like, here you go. I thought it'd be fun to have in the background, which is like, oh, you can't show that. Like, that's the reason we're talking about Linux in the first place. Yeah, I get to show that. Hate to break it to you. Keep helping us out. Everyone supporting us on Twitch. Give us some Bezo bucks if you want to subscribe to that. You get all the videos and you can get access to the Discord in there. And pretty cool. Stick around for your name in the credits. Possibly. If I remember to hit the credit button and we don't lose power. Yeah? Why are you making that wiggle eyes? What, Jill?
Well, I'm looking at our plugs. We have Kai Linux, but I don't know what you mean by BL3.
Borderlands 3.
Yes. Oh, okay. So now I know.
Okay. So if I was an audience member and I said Kai Linux BL3 and you said Borderlands 3, I would still have additional questions, Pedro Mateus.
It wasn't me who put that there. I'm going to blame one Jordan Svung because he was the one who got the BL3s. I know that Kai wanted to buy me a game as well, but he got hit with the region locking.
Ha.
Oh,
Gosh dang you, Valve.
Wait a minute. Could you say that
that's why you got to send a gift card
more time, just like
Steam.
a little slower?
Gosh dang you, Valve.
Oh, no, I was going to about the part where you didn't get anything.
I have plenty of games. I am the one of, us here. I'm the one who has the most games, so it's fine. It's okay.
I do want to thank Kai Linux for Grime, which also reminds me, it's like, apparently that was on my wish list. That is a Pedro game, too. It's a Souls-like 2D smack around.
That might have been the one that he tried to get for me, yeah.
So, I'll definitely give it a time. Thanks for that. That's awesome. Now that we're done with the endless shilling that constantly takes place throughout the show, it doesn't. Thank you.
Thank you. We love you all.
We're not ever going to be reading a real ad. Unless it's from Microsoft, because I will straight up take some Sacha dollars to bake some pie.
Send us some surfaces, please. Microsoft.
Anatomy of a pie.
That's right.
Da Vinci pie?
Yeah.
Fork.
Da Vinci pie.
What's up first
The
this
fork
week?
of a pie. So this is really cool. Raspberry Pi compute module for Blade servers. Oh, I bet anyone listening to us would want one of these. These are awesome. And they even have a mini rack to boot that you can make yourself for it. So what's really cool is these are kind of one-off blades made by a developer that use native NVMe storage. without the need of an adapter card like you usually have to use for the Raspberry Pi. And these are not available yet, but a Kickstarter campaign is expected to start soon. And they're just amazing. They have an HDMI port on them. They have breakout pins.
So you can HDMI port.
Yeah. A full size. Yeah. I was really impressed.
Yeah, it runs off of the Compute Module 4, which is...
Yeah.
I want to see more stuff built around that because that's a very powerful SoC. And
it sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, more.
The thing that really attracted me to this was this image. Let me see if I can pull it up. There we go. The footprint inside of a rack, much smaller, because we've seen compute module rack 3D printed stuff, and it takes up a lot of space. This, in a 19-inch, standard 19-inch, you can slam in a ton of them. That's a half rack system right there. So,
yeah, he said, Jeff Gearing actually said that instead of 4 Raspberry Pi 4s, the blades, you could have 16 blades in their place.
Yeah, there's 8 on that one.
Cool.
That's a half size, so yeah.
The only thing I'm waiting for is an updated version of the compute module so I can buy a blade with an NVMe, put it in the rack all by itself, and use it to run the Stream Deck. Like I currently do with the Raspberry Pi 4.
Absolute overkill.
A little bit. You know, but in fairness, it runs the AOO server for Pedro's Soto bus, but that's just an IP relay, like a handshake relay. Like, there you guys go. That's it. Do you like coffee?
Yeah.
I used to like coffee.
I like coffee. I like tea. I prefer tea, but I do like coffee.
I started drinking tea when I got here. I used to drink coffee back in the day.
The ultimate hipster.
didn't drink tea.
Everyone's drinking tea.
He
in the
didn't
UK,
drink tea in England. Okay.
Gotta fight the man, Pedro, and then.
Yeah. But yeah, this one is a DIY coffee roaster that's made out of a popcorn machine with a Raspberry Pi to monitor and control the temperature and the rotation and control the speed of the fan to make sure that all of the beans are getting around the same amount of heat at any one point. And that little wooden panel that he's got the little button and the knob, and that looks so very rustic. I was going to use hipstery, but I already called Vin a hipster, so I can't. But yeah, there's a video on the Reddit post. There's also, I put the couple of links for the blog posts. It has a bit more details as to what he used exactly, and you can see the process. And apparently Italian roast, you need to go up to 245 C at a steady pace. Otherwise, it's just going to taste like burnt coffee.
So I'm going to give everyone a pro tip as somebody who has roasted coffee at home. Don't.
But you can do it with the help of a Raspberry Pi Pico.
You can. Effectively, what you're going to do, there's 2 delicious ways you can make your house reek, depending on if you're going for a dark roast or not. And roasting coffee sucks for your nasal passage. You will not be happy. Do it out on the deck.
Or on a shed. Yeah, if you have a shed in the yard, it's like there.
But otherwise, a very, very cool project. I'm very happy to see it. Maybe you want to argue and be like, hey, man, I love the smell of burnt. And I roast coffee every day in my house. Let me tell you about it. How could you do that?
You can tell us about it by sending a postal card that you've rubbed all over your kitchen counter, because I kind of want to smell that. And you can address it to, the linuxgamecast.com and just hit the contact button. Yes. Good luck figuring out how to send smell over IP, but we're here for it. Just make sure LWDW Smoip.
Is it TCP or UDP?
Yes.
UDP.
You can make targeted, but yeah, mostly it will be UDP.
Or are we going to need a smell DNS server on the back end to make sure you get the right smell?
SMOIP HTTPS DNS. Yes.
Smello network.
I think we've delayed enough time to address the
So something we talked about last week.
comment.
We did. We dared say something bad about Librem. And we didn't say anything bad about Librem. We just pointed out, like, hey, man, guys having issues getting a refund. And we brought up that we mentioned it in our Discord, and immediately somebody 100% trust, it was Katana, was like, yo, I'm still waiting for the one from 4 years ago. They have that check. And
From the additional campaign.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we get this from Speedrun, from our Odyssey. On the Odyssey, I guess our
Yes.
Odyssey
library.
comments.
Yeah.
Our library network, Odyssey. Yes.
So this starts out very cordial. Why in the world would you bank on an expected shipping time for an experimental device like the Librem 5 during a worldwide electronics shortage and pandemic of infinite length? Again, I brought up
It started 4 years ago.
the one 4 years ago.
Defensive much?
Hang on, listen. This is a calm, thought out, rational, not a fan human. This is an equal player, like we were being. We're just like, hey, let's just look at both sides. This is
Okay.
yeah. Quit being so judgy. Also, about it being overpriced. Quotate overpriced. 2K is the real world price when you pay for your phone to be made by actual first world people earning a living wage and health benefits. What did you expect? Typical Foxconn prices. Now, back to what we were talking about, I do believe what we were implying that people expected were refunds if they didn't get their phones and possible like refunds for not getting their phones for 4 years. Both of these are verifiable in fact. They have nothing to do with the pandemic and they have nothing to do with the price because these are people who spent the money to get... I would be a bit cross myself.
See, I have a problem with that I have a problem with that whole thing, but that last bit, it's 2K is the real world price when you pay for your phone to be made by actual first person people earning a living wage and health benefits. That's the US version of the phone. What health benefits?
The company can provide health benefits.
The US health system is a meme worldwide. There are no health benefits.
Your employer can provide them unless everyone who's working there is a contract worker.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. I don't have anything. The only thing I had to say about Librem was don't take a post that was public for somebody with a valid complaint and mark it private so people couldn't see it unless they were logged in. Because guess what? I said it then and still today, and this is going to hold up years from now. That looks sketchy. Yeah. Jill, tell us some nice things about Librem.
Oh, they actually make awesome servers and workstations, and they're very well known for, the security and privacy on those workstations and servers. We just haven't seen the phone yet.
Good. I look forward to next week. Somebody saying, how dare you say anything nice about Librem?
Yeah, no, this is one of those that you can't appease people
can't
on both
win
sides
for
of
a
this.
living.
The moment you say something, you get the everyone is like that on the
Pedro,
corner.
the reason I'm having so much fun with this is because this particular person couldn't figure out which one of their alt accounts they wanted to leave the comment on. So
Very, very defensive. And then they realized, oh, poop, I was still on the other account.
right. I'm just saying when you're addressing something that, like, hey, I just thought hiding the post was sketchy. You probably don't want to meet sketchy with sketchy. Like, come on, really? We can do better. We can do better together. Beautiful people. We got to get out of here. We're going overtime, but hey, the power didn't go out. Enjoy the thunderous Love and Thunder soundtrack that I was able to provide. Thank you, Weather. And we're going to roll some credits and get out of here.
Yeah.
I got a credits button. Yes.
Pedro's starting to dance.
I doubted myself.
I don't know how one
Boots and
dances
pants
to
and boots
whoop
and
whoop,
pants.
but yeah. I will gyrate my hips if I have to.
I don't have enough hips to gyrate, man. That's how I can fit in this chair.
Oh, yeah, because you have a chair that it curves up. That
Oh,
would kill
yes.
me, Ben.
I've run into two friends that I was like, come in here. Come here. What? Try sitting this. How do you?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
if you
got
have
that
girl
butt. I
hips,
need a chair
those are
with
painful.
some depth.
Yeah, I'm just saying Pedro couldn't fit his junk in this chair. There's no way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I have a trunk. That could go places.
Beautiful people. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
bye everyone. Love you.